Hey guys, Fest Fickle. I put out there a question as to a video or videos you guys would like me to do. SD requested a video on my songwriting process. I'll just stop here for a second. If you see me looking away, it's because I've made some notes and I'm just going to read them to try and keep this thing moving fluently. So please forgive me if I look away. I'm just trying to keep this thing rolling along nicely. So this is not going to be a how to write songs video, and it's not an advice video on what you should do. This is just simply my songwriting process. So I suppose I should really start at the beginning to give it some context. First and foremost, when I was about 4 or 5 years old, I saw an interview with Paul McCartney, and he was talking about when him and John used to write the early songs for the Beatles, and they would take no more than 15 minutes to write a song. That sort of really stuck with me pretty full on. The second thing that sort of, I would say, shaped my songwriting process, if you will, was a teacher I had. He was from Canada, and he got some advice apparently directly from the great Muddy Waters, and he passed it on to me. That advice was pretty simple. For every 100 songs you write, only one song will be great. So therefore the idea is write thousands of songs and hopefully you get more great songs. So I started writing songs when I was about 10. And of course, all those songs sucked big time at the beginning, but you've got to start somewhere, as they say. So my actual process through the years hasn't really changed a great deal, except to say that I've streamlined it through the years. So what is my process? I can probably hear you say, asking me to hurry up and get to the point. Well, physically, I always start with a riff. My dad actually asked me the other day, how do I know which guitar to use? Well, I don't really know which guitar to use. I just grab a guitar that sort of strikes me on that day, and that's where I go. I sort of do have my go-to guitars. This is one of them. I always write a lot of songs using this guitar. But physically, I start with the riff. From that point, I play the riff. I sort of play it over a few times, see if I'm digging it, if I need to change it, adjust it. Sometimes it's just not going anywhere for me, and I scrap it, find a new riff again, and start all over again. Then as I'm playing that riff, I kind of feel the vibe of the riff, if you will, and to see what it's telling me, So basically, what kind of lyric I'm going to put over, happy, sad, joyous, angry, that kind of thing. But in saying all that, I do my homework. And what I mean by that is I'm always having ideas coming through my head. So if I get an idea for a topic for a song, if I get an idea for a lyric, if I actually have, just like the first line or an idea for a chorus, just that kind of thing, you know what I'm trying to say. In the old days, I would have written it down on a piece of paper and compiled it in a folder. But these days, with the wonders of technology, we all have phones in our back pocket. So I use the Notes app in my phone and I just type things in there. So then going back to that riff that I have. So as I'm playing that riff, it may spark a memory of something that I've written in my notes, or it might just have something brand new that comes to me. As I move along writing the song from that initial riff, so I might have that riff and then it might sort of take me into another piece of music. It might be a secondary riff, it might just be like a chord structure. From that point, once I sort of have that first riff or that two pieces of music, I then pretty much just write the entire song simultaneously. So if I've got the riff and then I go, the brain will go, okay, cool, that's going to be a riff that maybe I want to sing over, or that's just going to be an intro riff. And then I have that secondary piece of music like I just mentioned. And so that will be my verse. Then I start to get a vocal melody idea, and then lyrics will start dropping in. Maybe I've had something previously written, scribbled down, a part of an idea, and I might use that, or I might just have something fresh and they start coming down. So then as I go through that, it then will lead me to the next thing, whether it be a pre-chorus or a chorus, bridges, and so forth and so forth. Now, as I say, I write simultaneously, but I do write separately as well. Meaning to say that I can sit down and write an entire song musically or a full lyric to a song. Sometimes I'll take two pieces and smash them together. Sometimes if I'm in a band situation, someone else has written the music and then I just write a lyric and chuck it on there, or that kind of thing. But 98% of the time, I would say I just write simultaneously. So as I mentioned, what I do, I have streamlined, and from coming up with the original riff to like what I would consider the first run through of, okay, I've got all my lyrics, I've got my arrangement, so my first run through would generally be about an hour. Sometimes only 20 minutes and I've got a song completely done at that point. That's not a bragging situation, that's just me saying what it is how I do it. Now, I don't subscribe to this idea. Sorry, I'm just looking at my notes that I have here. I don't subscribe to the notion of that you have to have a place, that place to sit, or you've got to have that pen to write with. Nor do I believe you have to have an expensive instrument to come up with a good song or a great song. The idea is just to create. The spark is important. If that spark comes, just run with it. It doesn't really matter where you are. Just get that idea down best as you can. And you might not even have an instrument in your hand, but as I said before, we've always got a phone in our back pocket. Pull it out, use the voice recorder or the video and just sing into it. Get your idea there. Now, as I was writing all my notes, another sort of tip, if you will, came to my mind. And that's to turn off your conscious brain. Don't overthink everything. You can critique a song afterwards. You can pull it apart and redo it, all that kind of stuff, if that's what you're into. But the idea is just to write, just to get it out. We've heard it 1,000 times that the ideas just need to flow. Now, I'm sure I've stolen this from somewhere, but the thing I've said to a few people through the years, or probably many people through the years, is just put your ego in the back seat. Don't worry about your ego. Just leave your ego there and just write. Don't try and figure out if this song's a great song or a garbage song or anything like that. Just write the song. That's the important thing. Again, as I said, I've streamlined what I do. So I've actually figured out a way for myself to critique and arrange and all those bits and pieces as I go. But in saying that, that is 4 decades of writing songs. So that's where I'm at. So without editing this video, I'll try and show you quickly, if I'm able to, if something comes to mind, what it is I actually do. So I'm not going to sit here and write a full song because I don't want to drag this video out forever. I'm just trying to get across what it is I do. So, as I said, this is one of my go-to guitars. I don't use straight tuning a lot. I use a lot of open tunings. So I'll pick up the guitar and I just sort of noodle, as everyone does. And then generally speaking, it's the first sort of riff, if you will, that will come to my mind. That is where I'll start. Sort of do that kind of thing. So I've got something that I'm kind of liking and another part that's okay but sort of needs to be refined. So the part I'm actually digging is that's kind of cool, but this other bit it needs to be refined. got that. That's kind of cool. I'm kind of happy with that. So then from there, I started to listen to what it is, what it's telling me, get an idea, and I'd start to work on the lyric, like what kind of song is this going to be? Is it, as I said before, is it happy? Is it angry? Is it a love song? Is it political? Whatever, And then I sort of get that idea in my head, and then I start working on the lyric, what it is I'm trying to say, try and bring in a melody as well. So with this, I reckon I'd sing over this part. Other part, like a musical little interlude between it. So this would be my verse. If I'm singing out of key and all that kind of stuff, I'm just trying to find a place where I'm going to sit and how it's going to go. So there's probably going to be some real horrible notes coming out right now, but again, I don't care about it. You put the ego in the back seat, it doesn't matter. It's trying to get the process flowing to get to where it is that you want to be. Keep going around, and then I'd eventually find something that I dig, and then I go from there, and then it would lead me into what my chorus is going to be. So we'll just pretend that I've got something happening lyrically and a melody. Sort of led me into what the chorus might be. It's not really working. I kind of like the concept of it, but then the notation of it needs to be fixed. So I like it going to the open part. Didn't like that note there, so I'd sort of mess around with where it's going, and then sort of build from there, and then we'd just sort of keep going. You make mistakes as you go along, but that's all right, because I'm just trying to demonstrate what it is that I do and how I do it. work it around. So basically, obviously I haven't finished the song, I haven't got a verse there or anything else, but I've got some structure happening there, which is just trying to get across to you what it is that I do. Hopefully that sort of gives you some sort of insight as to what it was. If you actually wanted to see me write an entire song, I'd have to let the camera roll for probably, as I said, up to about an hour and just go from there. But I am going to stop this in a second and I'm going to work on this song and then I'll upload it and I'll let you know. Because I'm videoing this, I'll timestamp it, I'll screenshot it, what the timestamp is. I'll finish this song and I'll do a screenshot of the timestamp of when I finish it. So that will hopefully be some sort of proof as to what I'm saying to you. And then, yeah, we'll see what the finished song is. So thanks for watching. I hope, SD, that was of some help to you at all into what it is I do. Please, SD and anyone else, leave a comment. If you want some more clarification or something, or what I said didn't really make a lot of sense, and I'm happy to reply back or make another video in response to what you're asking. So thanks for watching. Take care, and I'll catch you next time.